Ooh, right, there we go. Right, just some standard sound checks to make sure everything's working. Make sure I'm actually live. That would be good. Right, just some standard sound checks to make sure everything's working. Okay, looks like everything is fine. Let me just tweet on Facebook. Okay, and then I can talk about for a bit what I am doing today and what the plan is. Okay, so for a few days now, I've stepped away from working on this level 3 GX, and I was working on upgrading the game systems and making the old underground build work well. However, yesterday I came back to this level, and I've been putting some improvements in. So yeah, as you can see, the surface is now full of beach tiger beetles and devil's coach horse larvae. And what's actually happening is that, I mean, the beach tiger beetles and the coach horse larvae are not friends, so if they bump into each other, they will attack each other. However, to stop all the coach horse larvae just being slaughtered by the beetles, because the beetles are obviously a lot tougher than the little larvae, I've basically, when they die, they're on a timer to respawn. So there's these holes around the surface map now, like little caverns. So when some creatures die, eventually they will respawn. So if you manage to kill something on the surface, it's only for a temporary amount of time. The beach tiger beetles are 4 minutes on the respawn, and the larvae are 2.5 minutes. So I'm thinking of reducing that to about 1 minute, maybe 90 seconds, because they're so much weaker than the big things that their timer can actually be quite frequent. And they only spawn one at a time. It doesn't spawn the whole pack again in that time period. So I'll do that now. That was one of the things I was intending to do. So I added a load of these stats to the spawners. So that's where they spawn from. This is the spawn rate. So if I change that to I guess air on the side of no. Change it to a minute for now. We'll see how it feels. There's a few of these. Yeah, there's 3 of the devil's coach horse larvae spawners. We should see if I press play and we watch one of the groups, such as these. Yeah, that's the first one spawned, because the first one's on a 0 timer. But if I delete a couple, then if we leave that for a while, for 1 minute, we should see them respawn. They should respawn from this little tunnel here. The beach tiger beetles respawn from the edge of the map. There's a tunnel here that they come out of, or a tunnel at the top somewhere. I think this. No, where's the top tunnel gone? Oh, no, at the top, that's the problem. There. So yeah. Eventually, any minute now. Yeah, there we go. One of them's respawned. Okay. Give me 1 moment, guys. Just grab a coffee before we start properly. You can watch this. You might see a beach tiger beetle slaughter them. I haven't actually changed the title of the stream. Tiger beetles just wreck the Yes, they will. They will indeed wreck them. But we should see a constant respawn of them anyway. So they can wreck them all they want. They'll be back. And he's off. Goodness knows where he's going to. It doesn't look like there's actually any Devil's Coach Horse larvae left on the map. They've all been wrecked. Oh no, but they're respawning, so we're all right. Okay, so basically the idea of kind of the various creatures on the surface is that they'll do this. They'll kind of fight with each other and move past each other and whatnot. But the surface will always be alive because there'll always be more respawning. What's that one doing? It's a bit of an issue I've got actually. Is that the nav mesh exists on these areas that they actually can't get to. And I have used the function that's meant to only go for reachable areas. But I'll have to solve that in another time. But beach Beach tiger beetle. Right, these are the points that they're all heading to. So the one that this is heading to, you can actually have a look. Oh, this one hasn't got a spawn point. Interesting. Should always have a spawn point. Of course, can't use the mini map if I'm not possessed. But no, these will end up just being patches of food. Maybe if the beach tiger beetle kills them, they shouldn't drop food. But anyway. Yeah. I think the food will probably have a rotting timer on it. So after a certain amount of time, it rots and disappears. Like the meat that's dropped from creatures. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing now, because I think those creatures are in a good enough state for now to leave them be. Although I do need to check out why that one lost its spawn point. What I need to do now is take a look at the enemy colony. So in this particular map, we're going to have a pre-set up enemy colony who are already doing really well, much better than the player, and they're going to send attacks at you at certain points. So that'll be how you lose, is if the enemy colony decides to attack you and kill you. Although I'm going to make it happen at certain times, so you've got time to build up to it. This isn't going to be a full AI. It's not going to make decisions as such. It's just going to be following a set pattern. And some AIs will be like that. Liam's working on the full AI that actually decides what it wants to do. So we need to take a look at the enemy colony. They're set up underground, and they've got less space than the player, but that's because they don't have anything to explore. They're not going to do underground exploration. Their base is going to be pre-set up. With a normal AI, it would use this construction plan here, where you decide a central tile for a room, how big you want the room to be, and it kind of plans its construction like that. But we're not going to do that at the moment. We're going to have no construction plan in this. It's just going to follow a set pattern. So it's going to need some workers. Now I'm going to put the workers chambers right at the back, because these are less important that they get back into a fight. Oops. Okay. So there's one worker brood chamber. Make another one here. These can be irregular shapes, it doesn't matter. Okay, so as I'm doing this, I need to put need to say which marker these rooms are assigned to. So we know there's 3 markers, so we can have a total of 3 groups. So there's going to be 2 food collection groups and one kind of aggressive group. that they're going to use to attack the player with. And then when the game gets really serious at the end, it's going to go all out and send its food collection groups in as well. So I'm going to put these in group 1. I'm also going to have some nest workers that aren't coming out. Just the tiles I want. Okay, so these are going to be group 2. And the nest group is going to be... I'm not going to have any nest soldiers. All soldiers will be in group 3, although most of the although those soldiers won't be those soldiers won't be they'll spend most of their time in the nest until it's time to attack. Oh, I've spotted we've got a tile error. Matt's asked me to report these to him whenever I find them, so just grab a screenshot of that. Good old paint. I'll send him on Slack. Deal with this. I think for now, in case he doesn't have time to fix it, let's do that. Okay. So what we've got now is, okay, this is 3 groups. Oh, that needs an access hole. So this is 3 groups of workers. We now need soldiers. So first thing I'll do is test out that these groups are actually working. There's no reason why they wouldn't be. But I'll put on some waypoints on the surface and see if the workers head to them. To the surface. It's a very bland surface at the moment. We will be improving it. Matt's doing his artistic pass of this. There's a lot of tools we've got, like the grass and the stones and the plants and things that Matt's going to put on Saturday. He's going to be taking this level off me and making it look a lot prettier. I've just made it functional. So it's not levels we want. It's blueprints. It's call to arms blueprint. Okay. So there's 2 call to armses. Call to arms I or something like that. I don't know what the plural is for call to arms. So its ID is 1. Its colony ID is 1 actually. 0 is the player. So this one is ID 2. Colony ID 1 again. Okay. So what we should see now is those groups of workers, as they're being born, head to those points. I'm unsure whether I'm going to give the computer some cheats on this map yet. Give them some to some extent. See how it goes. Anyway. So yeah, we got the green colony here. Blending in really well with that with the greens background. It's sort of mustard. How are you going about the mini-mapping the enemy nest? I don't think we're going to have a mini-map for the enemy nest. When you've got ants in there, you'll be able to take a look, but you won't be able to use a mini-map in there. I mean, you can't control your ants when they're in the enemy nest anyway. They beeline for the queen, and then when the queen's dead, they leave. So certainly at the moment, there's not going to be a mini-map for it. Ah, the computer player hasn't been given any cheats, right? And they have absolutely no food underground. Okay, so that's the first cheat I'm going to give them. Is infinite food. Wow, so imber. And I think because they've got infinite food, what I'll do is as they put food down, when their food stores are full, it's just going to delete food from them. Or just every few seconds, it's just going to delete some food. Because there's absolutely no need for the computer to control its resources at the moment. Sure, in the full AI, yes, but in this, it's just going to be a timed AI. So, anyway, let's take a look at the enemy base. Okay, so they've got infinite food now, so they should have, yeah, they should have some more ants hatching from the queen area. Okay, so these ants should go to the surface. Okay, that looks promising. Let's jump over to their nest. Make sure they're doing what we expect. Okay. We can see them there. My guess is that they've fallen through the world. Oh, hang on. They're under here somewhere. Let's have a quick look. What's wrong with you? No. Probably just wasn't patient enough with them. Oh no, they are messing up. If we take a look at the nav mesh, we'll see what's happened. Okay, so the nav mesh looks fine there. However, they're spawning into the wall here. My guess is that their spawning point isn't where it's meant to be. So let me deal with that. Right, so if we have a look in here. Oh no, the spawning points look... Ah, what's its spawning radius? When creatures spawn on the surface, they spawn near these points here. However, they also spawn into a radius, and because the nav mesh doesn't build too well in this area, it has to be really quite a small radius, else it just jumps onto the broken bits of the nav mesh. Additionally, I can shift the nav mesh. Right, if I hide this object here, and get rid of the nav mesh for a moment. This whole area. Grab those. Those can be way down on the floor to be further away. Deal with that. So, layer height 0 at least. Make can probably use minus. I don't think it needs to be any lower than that. That looks fine to me. So I've just pushed them down further because they don't need to be there. So surface, exit, make that visible again. Alright, so we've pushed that down, that'll help. Next is if we take a look at this whole radius. Now that whole radius seems reasonable, but it must have strayed onto the under the below stuff, but now we've moved that down a significant chunk. Let's see what happens. Okay. In order to speed these tests up, I'm going to give the enemy colony a couple more cheats as well. Basically, I want to see instantly what's going to happen with their colony. So I'm going to give them self-spawning eggs and infinite and instant mature eggs as well. So essentially, that'll be an instant spawn. Auto spawning eggs, instant mature. Okay. I need to change the name of this stream actually. There we are, making an enemy colony. Right. Okay, so the minimap's a bit broke at the moment. It's not broke in reality. Okay, I'm going to need Matt to take a look at the collision object here. Clearly, we've still got issues. Yeah, some ants are spawning in the wall here. Ah. If you actually look at it, the nav mesh does indeed go into the wall at that point. Need to get Matt to take a look at these. So essentially, are the ants pathing into the wall here? Or are they spawning in the wall? Ooh, look. Nav mesh rebuilds. Okay, that shouldn't be happening. That's another thing I need to tell Matt about. One moment. So, there was something else I noticed as well. Yeah, the Anyway. So yeah, they're heading to the surface now. I'm just going to have a quick check of it. They're walking into it. Okay, so it's nothing to do with their spawning. They're actually walking into this strange area that shouldn't exist. It's an error in the collision object. In the collision of the object, sorry. And once they're in, they can't get out. These will be all the ants that have been assigned to this waypoint, or most of them at least. But either way, we can see they're working at least. Right, I'll keep going. So we've got 2 patches of workers. We're gonna need some soldiers to escort all those workers. And then we're going to need a military group, so a group that's purely going to be sent out to attack things. And that'll most of the time be kept underground. Okay, so some escorts for these 2 groups. So which group's this? This is group 1. So let's make so there'll be Black and Brood Chamber. It's interesting that even that's causing a nav mesh rebuild. Yeah, something's not right with the nav mesh. It should only be rebuilding when the I mean, are these perhaps? No. Just having a look at the collision on these things. Static mesh. Block all dynamic. That's wrong. It shouldn't be blocking anything. Right, now I've changed that. No, it's still changing the nav mesh. Right, that's going to be hang on. Before I move on, let me just check. Can ever affect navigation set to no? If I delete this ant here, something about, I'm guessing it's the eggs. Something's basically affecting the navigation when it shouldn't. It's the, navigation. It's very important that the navigation's only affected when it needs to be, like when you dig a tunnel, because it's quite an expensive operation to update it. So having navigation update when it doesn't need to is really bad for slowdowns. So try and look for the eggs. I would have suspected it would have been in world construction. None of these. Explode pupa cocoon. Have a quick look. Static mesh. Just turn that off. I'm just going to take a... No, it's still happening here. Yeah, something's not right here. I suspect it's these. I actually do suspect it's these two. Where is it? Right, let's have a quick look. This is Explode Pupa 2. Which is... this. Okay, this is what we're looking at. Right, they've got effect navigation on. They should not have that. Okay, let's take another look. Better. Okay, glad we solved that mystery. I mean, the other thing that's doing it appears... hang on. What I'll do is I'll try it whilst the game's actually running. No, navigation's not being affected by things being built. It was only actually being affected by by the eggs. It was clearly a lingering mistake there. But we've solved it, so it's all good. And in the process, we've spotted a couple of other things that were wrong. Which is always good. Okay. So where were we before this whole rebuilding the nav mesh confusion? Okay, so the computer player needs... It's got this first room. Actually, you need to select all the tiles in this room. And you hear the Scouse, I presume they're builders outside. I might shut the window over. I don't want to subject you to that. Or that. Damn it, click on the tiles, not the... Stupid thing. Tiles! It really doesn't want to click on that tile. Alright, next time I do this, the moment I turn them into the chamber, I'm going to assign them to a group, so I don't have to select them all again. Okay. Okay, so these need to be set to group 1. Yeah, I'm going to... Yes, I'm always eating... No. These are just crisp thins. Ritz crisp thins, apparently. Right, enough Scouse builder noise. The Sounds of Liverpool, Volume 1. So yeah, we've got I actually think this level's going to be really hard. I don't know whether it's perhaps going to be too hard. For a show floor build. Because a lot of people won't actually be playing. Even people that have played it won't be used to the surface. Okay. Okay, so they're set to group 1. This group I'm about to set up here, and we set to group 2. And then I'm going to make a huge attack group with the rest of the space. Oh, sugar, I've been setting tile upgrade number. I don't want to set that. That isn't what I've set over here, is it? No, we're okay. We're okay. Calm down, everyone. Yeah, we're okay. We haven't been setting anything stupid. These haven't been set anywhere anyway. Okay. So right, so the huge attack group is essentially the boss. The player has to beat the huge attack group. Now I'm not sure yet if we're going to be if the upgrade system's going to be in place by EGX. The back end of it's been done. I'm going to try and take on actually the AI side of it tomorrow. So if I do stream tomorrow, it'll be me trying to deal with the AI side of upgrades and the stat side of it. Okay. So this is going to be part of group. So at the moment, I'm going to leave them on upgrade 0. Marker number 3. Black ants again. Marker number 3. Black ants again. And one more room full of black ants. We'll see how this plays. I have no idea how hard this level is going to be. It's the thing about level design. You can guess all you want. It's probably just going to be completely different to whatever you think it's going to be. And a lot of the levels I've made have evolved and changed over time. Number 3. Root chamber. Now with all these groups and things, you should be able to see the team colours coming into play quite heavily now. So there's only going to be a small amount of this player's forces on the surface at all. Yeah, most of the time until it gets into combat, and then it's going to send the rest of them at you. Obviously, we're going to get them messing up again. Yeah, man needs to look into the collision object of this. Okay, so these should form into trails, apart from the huge amount of ants that are stuck under the ground in this weird bucket that we seem to have developed. It's terrifying in there. Yeah, so the ants that are heading over here are mostly getting stuck. But we'll deal with that. Not sure red-green is the best colour combination in opposing force. It's the most common colour blindness. Well, as far as I'm aware, The whole thing about team colours is set. I think the most sensible place for it to be set would have been the... I'm only guessing here. Would have been the player icon. If I have a look at the Queen, for example, dynamic material hair and team color shift, set vector parameter value. Question is, where's it getting that from? Either way, we should. I'm sure it's very easy to change. It's Matt that's implemented it, not me. Green doesn't work very well underground anyway. Not on the beach, or on the surface, in fact. Right, so it's setting something on this. It's setting it to get gene stealer color. So that's poorly named anyway. The enemy colonies are going to need to have a... that aren't gene stealer colonies are going to need to have a color as well. But it's getting that from the game mode. What's it called? Gene stealer color. Okay, so I need to find references to that in the game mode, where that gets set really. Seems like it's an array. Team colors array. Right, it seems they're hard coded for now. My guess is that it's done in the... looking for references to team colors. There we are. So this is team 1. So there's yellow, red, yellow, green, blue, nothing. I think for now we just need to pick the... I mean, the Formica Repta are generally red. What is obviously a different colour to red then? Like, that colourblind people wouldn't mix up. We'll make that Team 2's colour. We'll swap it around with a... blue, maybe? Best other colour to red for colourblind. Few combinations to avoid. Green and red, green and brown, purple and blue, green and blue. Right. So there's a few things that need to be avoided. Use both colours, and you shouldn't rely on one colour alone. Blah blah blah. Keep minimal. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Right, I've got a list of ones that I should avoid. Green and blue. Red and blue don't appear there, so I'm going to go with red and blue for now. But I need to check out... yeah, it'll be a... I need to check out game mode. One sec, this will only take a moment. Right. So yeah, game mode's editable now. All I need to do is swap them around. So that should do it. And I think the Gene Stealers have a second colour on them. Okay, build that. I'm actually going to close Unreal Engine whilst I do this. Because I think it's a fundamental enough change that it could affect things on the level. Right. Then we can see what the blue looks like. And I can have a few more Ritz crisp thins. It's really good. Good strong salt and vinegar flavour. I'm by no way endorsed by Ritz, but I do really like these. Come on, build. We need some options for the mini-map as well. So, team colours, friends and enemies, that sort of thing. Success. Wrong thing. So. I wonder what the blue will look like. I think it'll be very obvious, certainly against the yellowy beach. No, wrong thing. God, they look weird. Like aliens. Well, certainly be very clear. That's for sure. I think what we should do is have the team colours in the team icon, so they can be changed on the fly. Or maybe not. Maybe they should be. They should probably be at set colours. But maybe you can choose the flag for what team colour it should be. Yes. Yeah, they've been eating blue food. They assimilated a one of those bright blue beetle things that they used to use in dyes. Fight! Yeah, I've got cheats on as well. 2 can play at that game. Attack. Actually, will my forces even make it there? Oh, looks like we're okay. We've got a clear run. Aww. Oh, back too soon. Where are you two heading off to? Just can't get the staff these days. Oh wait, this is the extent of my attack on their force. Okay. That's a little bug we got at the minute. I need to work that one out. What happened? Oh. It wandered off. Oh, these things are vicious. Anyway. Let's stop actually faffing around and get back to what we're meant to be doing. What we're meant to be doing is making the enemy do something. So we've got its 3 groups set up now. It's not going to be using proper AI, so I need to make a decision. see, at the moment it's using that game mode. I believe in here somewhere. It's the enemy AI. I mean, it should be running the bot AI, but I think I might build a separate AI because Liam's been working hard on the bot AI, and it will be doing stuff from it at the moment. But I can possibly make a second behavior tree, which does a lot more simple stuff. Well, it doesn't actually look like doesn't actually look like the AI is doing anything. Let's have a quick look at. Test it. Actually, doesn't look like the enemy AI is running. Default pawn class. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep things simple. It doesn't seem to be running an actual AI. I don't actually want it to do an AI because I don't want it to be properly thinking yet in this build. It'll be dead easy to make them randomly move if that's what I wanted. It's not random that I want though. I want them specifically to move. I want it to go right. There's no food left here. Let's move to this food collection point. I haven't put any food on the surface yet. But I will do. I need to work on the harvestable food as well. It's something I was working on a while ago, but I haven't touched it in a while. And it wasn't perfect when I finished it. The harvestable food is going to be a food source that lasts a lot longer. Such as the dead fish. So I'm just trying to work out where the best place to bung this AI is. This pseudo AI. So Martha the Fit Fish. Yes, indeed. We need a couple of them, really. We haven't got the crawling on things working properly yet, so you'll have to just harvest it from the ground. But that'll be alright. Where is Martha the Fish? Some resources, I think. It's this one, harvestable fish. It's not that one, is it? That was the old one. Oh, hang on. No, no, up. It looks like the old one. Harvestable fish. Surface fish. What's wrong with their textures? I think I'm just going to have to ignore the texture problems for now and speak to Matt about it later. What's the difference between these two? Right, that one thinks it's a surface resource BP. Oh no, they've loaded. I think it's harvestable fish I want. This isn't Martha, this is a different fish. It's not got the claw marks on like Martha. Oh well. Right. If I move this over here. It's the harvestable fish. Thinks it's a harvestable resource. No, I think that's what I wanted it to be. Yeah, it's got harvest points on it. I remember setting them. If I have a look at the harvestable fish, it's got these harvest points on it. I think each harvest point's got a... No, it's nothing to do with that. But the harvest fish has got a radius on it. Max harvesters. Resources held. Max harvest is 7. That needs to... amount of resources that we gathered in a single harvest. I think because the amount of resources have changed. Let's make it 10 for now. Could do a dead wolf spider, yeah. There should be a harvest radius on it as well. I thought there was. Thought there was. Guess we'll see. We'll see what these ants make of her. Only a little fish. Right, well, it's clearly bugged, but one of them managed to harvest from it. Right. So there's 14 ants registered to it, and they're constantly re-registering. They're not handling it properly. I need to check the AI. So it's been a while since I've actually looked at this. One of them managed to harvest. I'm wondering if it's the distance they need to be from the harvest point or something. It's clearly these that are the harvesters. So let's have a look in their brains. What's going on in your brain? Looks like one of them managed to get... Oh no, hang on. There's fighting going on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this a bit. It's clearly a movement problem. So the question is, I need to run this again because the ants need to. So the question is, the first question is, what's the target location? Is it something stupid? That looks stupid to me. So I think it's in Creature Decide that they spot the harvesters. So it's here, check nearest food. So that's if it's a castable resource. If it's a harvestable resource, which is what we're looking at now. Register harvester. So I'm assuming it's in here. Stupid IntelliSense. IntelliSense, slowest working thing ever. All I wanted to do was go to its definition. It's trying to search the whole project for anything called register harvester. Okay. So usable socket equals -1. Okay, so it scans through all the sockets to check if there's a space. If there's a space, it registers to it. Question is, so it sets currently target location to this thing called temp location dot location. Temp location is get random point in navigatable radius from the temp harvest point right. I mean the actor here in this case actually has both a local and a world location, so I need to get its world location. Damn it. So that might be the issue. Look this up. Right. This target is scene component. Okay, I need to do that in the C++ code. It says the target's the scene component. My guess is that's a scene component. Either way. Doesn't look like it. Oh, there's a UC component. There's root component. I'll find it. You just watch me. Get socket world location rotation. Set world location. Get component location. But its display name is get world location. Right. Returns the location of the component in world space. That's what I'm looking for, is K2 get component location. It's got a different name in the blueprints than it's got in the code. But you follow the chain and you eventually get there. Okay, so now we're looking for the world location instead. Okay, now it's not happy with me. Why are you not happy with me? Open. Well, let me just cut that. Ah. There is an extra bracket. That's why it's not happy with me. Okay. I should be good to build that now, and we'll be away again, I suspect. Apparently the harvest points themselves have I'll let that compile. I'm gonna get coffee whilst that's compiling, and then we'll move on. How did the compile go? Fine, by looks thing. Right. Alright. So, now the harvestable fish should be returning some more sensible results. Lied John. Right, what? Some sort of stupid location. And really what we're looking for is something more like this. In the thousands, not in the several billion. Right. Let's actually check that that's what it's returning. Okay. Static to it. I think you'll find that this is the problem. The fact that it couldn't attach the actors to it. I mean, the actors were probably at some stupid location. Hey! Now that's what I'm talking about. Harvest that fish. I think we'll find that the enemy's probably filled their food storage up. Or the fish has no resources left. So that was 500 resources harvested very quickly. So for a start, we probably need to reduce the amount of harvesters that are allowed to harvest the fish. What were the errors? Child, that is not static. Cannot attach. Which is static. It seemed to work alright. It says it's movable. We're having some funny difficulties at the minute. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I'm just going to restart the engine. Sometimes that helps. Don't need to save that. Don't need to save that. Should probably save the level. See if we get the warnings again. It should come up at the beginning anyway. Okay, we still got the warnings. Attached to game levels from Carrium stage 2. Child actor 2 is not static. And blueprint, harvestable fish. Cannot attach. Yeah, it's not. I know you told me off when it was static. Cannot attach game level from here in stage 2. Scene component, which is static to it. Aborting. Right. Mobility. Saying something isn't static. Child act is not static. But the harvest point scene component is static. Okay, I need to have a look at harvest points. C++ class. This needs to be turned to movable. Let's check it out. No, I know this mistake. It's there and there. It needs to be changed. It's due to me trying to be clever with the scenes, making an icon for it. So I'll deal with it. It'll only take me a second. Everything's going to be movable in this, especially as it's going to move. That's a really good reason to make stuff movable. Compile time, compile time. Da 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 da. The most common reason for slow development. Compile time. Or for distracted developers. I'm actually just checking for the warnings. Although I thought they might come up immediately. Close and reopen the engine. Okay, so going back to the level. Now do we get any errors? No, everything's been set to movable. Perfect. No errors. Right, let's actually make sure that they're still harvesting the fish. And they haven't done something that's broke it. Harvest the little fish. Oh, ants. Yeah, they're harvesting. Some of the harvest points that they're harvesting from are a little bit suspect. But I'll deal with it. I'll deal with that. It'll take me a moment. Okay, so the fish itself, if I edit the fish, I come back. It's got harvest points on it, and harvest points have harvest radiuses. So 3 is about 3 tiles distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce it massively to about 100. So ants are allowed to harvest up to one distance of 100. Okay, child actor 2, where's that? So that's actually got a lower one anyway. I'm going to change that to 50. Okay, so they're going to be harvesting from these specific locations on the fish, or close to them. Now, is 500 enough resources for a fish? And I need to also do code that despawns it. I thought, is the nav mesh rebuild problem you caught earlier on an old problem you just spotted because my audio crackling when lots of things hatch? It could be that. I suspect that the problem will be in old builds, so yeah, maybe it is that. However, the audio problem could also be when a lot of audio goes off at the same time. Currently, the audio will just kind of cut off old audio. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's just a lot of audio playing at the same time. We have a limit to the amount of audio we can play at the same time. At the moment, we're not dealing with it properly. So we will be in the future. But certainly slowdowns in the game could be that. So the audio problem might be just because the sheer amount of audio that's going on at the same time. And the slowdown when everything hatches. And the slowdown might be all the nav mesh is rebuilding when lots of things hatch. So yeah, that could be the cause of both of those problems. Right, so I think I want that fish to be I don't think I want 15 harvesters. Ugh. I think 15 harvesters is probably a bit much. Oh god, that beach tiger beetle's rampaging. And it's off again. It just thought it'd run past to... I suspect the whole thing's been harvested. See, 500 might not be enough anymore. 500 is... Go on, John, use your maths. 10 ants. You can build 10 more ants in total with the whole resources from a fish. I reckon a fish like that, maybe 750. Ooh, a fish like that? Yeah, that old 750, no problem, mate. However, I want to reduce the number of harvesters. 8, maybe. Yeah. I was thinking that, and perhaps part way through, when it gets to like half, the top model could burn away somehow, leaving like a half-eaten model, and then when it gets to the bottom level, that model could burn away. But for now, I'm just going to make the fish sink into the ground like all of other things do when they're spent, when they're dead. So, if we have a look at the code for the harvest points, I also want some sort of visual representation on the food of the amount of food that's left in the fish, and also the amount of harvesters you've got harvesting it compared to what can be harvesting it, so you can tell whether you're harvesting at full efficiency or not. Does it? I think harvest time's actually dealt with in the ants themselves. But maybe that could be a thing as well. Maybe some resources could take ages to harvest. Some could only take short periods of time. We will see. But for now, I'm going to have a look at the fish, the harvest point. And we're going to deal with its... Not harvest point, sorry. Harvest resource. There we are. We're going to deal with its tick. So if harvest sockets... Okay. So just here we'll do a if what's it called? Resources held. If resources held is less than or equal to 0. Set actor location. Okay, so just a vector. F vector equals no vector. location minus equal location dot x, sorry, and a z. Minus equals what rate do things drop through the floor at? If I look at creatures. Begin plates. I'm looking for tick. Okay. So I'm looking for them. Here we are. Corpse despawn. Handle the sinking into the ground. Sink location dot z minus equals. Of course, it needs to be a multiple of delta time, doesn't it? Damn. I may as well copy the creatures one. Okay, so that should handle that should make it sink into the ground. However, I do need to set a new variable on here, so it used to be called something like it is just going to be a bool. It's going to be called resource despawn. It's going to be a U property, not a U function, sorry. Okay, so basically, at the point, if it's not despawning already, in the tick, it's going to do a check to see if it's got less than. First of all, it's going to do a check to see if the resource is already despawning. So if the resource is not currently despawning and resources are less than or equal to 0, then resource despawn equals true. So it just flags it for it. So if resource despawn, then it's going to sink it into the ground. Here it also needs to prepare it for deleting. So set lifespan. This is something you set, which means it'll have this amount of time left to exist in the world. I'm going to give it 6 seconds because it's quite a big item. It's going to take a while to sink into the ground. What would be good as well is some sort of particle effect, like the sand bit, like the ground around it being kicked up as it goes in. But I think for now we'll just leave it there. That can be something that Matt could look into when he's thinking about the art in this area. So social media look whilst we're okay. Let's see if that works. In order to test it, I'm going to knock its food down to 3. So a single ant should be will harvest the whole thing. It's a good point as well. What's going to happen if... What happens if there's 3 resources left on it and 5 ants arrive to harvest it? Intrigued. So it looks like they're all going to harvest it. And we crash. That's what happens. It crashes. Right. Happy didn't pick up actor. My guess is the actor didn't spawn. And then it tried to pick it up. I've got an idea of what caused that, actually. And it'll be exactly what I was talking about a second ago. So basically, if an ant's harvesting a resource, let's register harvester, check sockets, harvest resource. Okay, so if quantity to harvest is greater than 0, so in this case it wasn't. Quantity to harvest was not greater than 0. So we jumped out here and it returned a null pointer. How did the ant handle that null pointer? Really, it should do a check to see if it's a null pointer. Although I suspect it probably doesn't. If it's possible it can be a null pointer, it needs to check. I suspect it just got trigger happy and tried to pick up the nothing. So just need to check not the C++ AI, it's in the Blueprint AI. So it's in this here. It's nearby resource harvestable. Harvest resource. Okay. So there's it trying to harvest. This is its actual moment of harvest. Harvest resource. Yeah. See, it does absolutely no checks there. But it can be given a null pointer. So So if it's not equal to nothing, so if it's equal to something, pick it up. If it's not, fail. Patching the bugs. Trying to work out what it was asking me to do then. No, I don't. I haven't changed it. But it always thinks I've changed it. Ah, it crashed, didn't it? So yeah, this thing's got full-on resources. That's not actually what I wanted to do. Okay, so all of them will start, but only one of them will actually receive any. I think that is what you call a success. Okay, so we have our harvestable fish. Resources like that, I wanted you to be able to put the put your marker directly on top of. So if I have a look in the blueprints, the level blueprints, this is where all the controls are dealt, all the right-clicking controls are dealt with. So if it's an underground tile, if it's an overground tile, if it's a surface tunnel exit, so that's if it's the enemy's tunnel exit. So there's one final thing I want. I don't actually know if this is going to be possible because it's an object that has no hit area. So my right clicking might just go straight through it. In fact, I suspect my click will just go straight through it. I don't see. It says harvest resource. Does not inherit from actor. Oh, sugar. I didn't actually mean harvest resource. I meant harvestable resource, is it? Yeah, harvestable. My bad. But I don't think it has any collision, so Oh no. Totally okay with that. Cool. It's happy with me. That is what I wasn't expecting. Okay, so if it's happy registering onto a fish, okay, so these are the various things that it's allowed to respond to. So in my case, it's responding to. So with surface tunnel, it was meant to have a different location. It wasn't meant to use click location. Unless it happens in the call to arms blueprint, which it might. So let's have a look, shall we? So I'm going to have a look in the call to arms blueprint to spot whether or not this location thing is dealt with in here. Let's begin play. So this is tech. Okay, so in... right, okay. So I need to give it a target actor, essentially. Suspect that happens afterwards somewhere. That's no longer needed. I'm trying to work out where the target actor's set. Maybe it sets it itself? There is only 2 mentions of target actor. Maybe it's on the target actor? This is a surface tunnel exit. Uh-huh. Alright, click. Right, I need... yeah, I remember doing it now. I need this to run a certain interface. Not this, sorry. This. Sorry, didn't mean that. One sec. Let's remember how to make things implement an interface. Right. Faces. Details panel, locate the interfaces. Aha. Right. That is not what I was expecting. Nope, neither was that. So on right mouse click. It's not it either. Let's not panic. Okay. There we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is make sure it's working. Cool. Okay, we're happening at that point. Get rid of that now. Right, I'm actually going to copy all of this from the other one because it's actually going to be similar. I don't have to rewrite all that code. Only it doesn't need to check to see if it's your own or anything like that. So what have we got? So on right mouse click, casts your util player controller, gets your ID. There's a true and false here. Doesn't need to be a true and false, doesn't need to branch. Because it doesn't need to branch, we don't need that branch node. We don't need the stuff that plugs into the branch node. Okay, moving along. Get the HUD, for instance. Get the active marker. Sets the call to arms location. Spawnable call to arms. Spawn active call to arms. Sets the linked actor. I think that'll do it. Maybe not. Doesn't know what call to arms. Of course it doesn't. To be fair, I don't actually need call to arms location. Target self. I have no idea what target self is, so let's get rid of that. Don't need to set the call to arms location. Let's get rid of that. because I don't need to set the call to arms location. Call to arms ID. Where does that come from in here? Gets it from the tug of war widget. Okay, moving on. Nearly there. Target self. Target self is true. Get rid of that. Doesn't need to branch. Okay, let's see what that does. Now, theoretically, that should create the marker in the center of the fish as I right click. However, right clicking on the surface tunnel exits, I think, will create two markers at the moment, which is not what we want. Yeah, that's perfect. So when it's targeting a fish, we're going to do something quite different. Okay, so just want to verify something. Something that I suspect. Let me try it on the fish. No, it does only seem to create one. Okay. Seems okay then. So in the level blueprint, let me just check. If it's a surface tunnel, I don't actually think it gets to this point. Well, I did get a response earlier, didn't I? Although that was before it was implementing the interface. My guess is that it doesn't actually get to that point. Yeah, it doesn't. So this is entirely pointless. Both of those are. It's only these two it needs to do. We're all pleased to hear. Okay, so now when a harvest point gets put on top of when a call to arms gets put on top of a fish, I want it to display some extra information. Additionally, when a call to arms gets put on top of an enemy colony, it'd be nice if we could see how many of our ants are in the enemy colony. But I don't think that's vital information. And obviously this needs fixing. The mad ants. Mants, if you will. I'm starting to think the harvest time should be based on should be based on the resource rather than the ants themselves. So like, it tries to harvest it each resource. Although having said that, we do intend to have different ants harvest different types of resources with better efficiency. So maybe it should be on the no, maybe it should be on the resource. Maybe the resource has a list of ants that harvest efficiently. Maybe they've all got the standard harvest. The ants have got a standard harvest time. It takes it from the ants, but then the resource has an array of ants on it that augment that. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Because then we can do it per resource per ant. So it just checks to see if the ant harvesting is of the class that it's expecting. God, that one tiger beetle's shredding that enemy colony. Makes me wonder if I put too many tiger beetles on the map. Nah. For goodness sake, guys, help out. Eventually they'll get him down. Most of these packs respawn, but some of them don't. I'm thinking the ones that don't are probably pointless because they're likely to have been slaughtered by a tiger beetle at some point before the player gets to them. So maybe they should all have respawns. Yeah, possibly. Okay. So I want to take a look at the call to arms markers. I want to copy the... So there's a few bits of information you want. Well, actually, I think it should only be the harvesters that's shown on top of the call to arms marker. I think the resources left in a harvestable resource should be shown by holding down CTRL, or just be permanently on if you hit a setting. Right, I'm gonna get coffee. Then we shall finish this harvest resources and get back to setting up the enemy colony. Right, let's do it. Do anything? I'm just gonna put a jumper on. It's a bit chilly now. It's also getting a bit dull, so I'm going to turn the light on. Okay, so I want to deal with this harvest point efficiency now. I'm going to deal with it so we don't have to worry about it in the future, so it will be there when we need it. Eventually, I think we'll have ants crawling over the fish when they're harvesting it. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. To be honest, this system seems to be working fine, so it might not be worth it. So a couple of things. First of all, I want on the call to arms, make sure rooms with call to arms point to this object. Updating the number billboards. Right. Get active colony count. Interesting. So that looks like, to me, that looks like the number on it. $112. First digit, second digit, final digit. Of course, it can go into hundreds, can't it? What is digit 3? Ah. Okay, so this is for the situation where you're harvesting. Hello, Hulsbro. It's going all right. At the moment, I'm trying to make it obvious how many you should have harvesting at a point. So I'm trying to copy something that Matt's done, actually. So there's the 3 digits. But you're going to want to know how many you're going to want to know how many are currently harvesting, and so it's going to be a number slash a number. So something like one of 12, and then you're going to want to know how many resources are left on the point. So it's a material billboard component. I can just copy and paste these into the harvest. I think I'm going to do this all on the Definitely think the number of harvesters should be on the point. I think the number of food should be over the should be hovering over it. So not harvestable fish specifically, it's harvestable resource. But the yeah, now I've actually got code on the harvestable fish itself. This should perhaps be called harvestable resource BP. So I've got a base blueprint to base it all off. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename this. Harvestable. Then, in order to make the fish, this is going to be harvestable fish. The reason it told me there was one of those already is because there's a there'll be a redirector in here. I'll deal with that later. Okay, so optimal resource blueprint. To be honest, these three child actors shouldn't be on this. It should be in the fish one. But again, I'll deal with that later. I'm only going to do what I have to do now. So the harvestable resource needs some of these billboard components. Is it billboard or material billboard? It's material billboard. Actually just going to copy and paste them from that one. I'm also going to copy and paste their code, even though it doesn't make sense, and I'll edit it. Okay, so the code is in here. And I'm just going to add, for the moment, a variable down here. Oh no, don't need to add a variable. I can take it from. Okay, so this is get resources held. That won't help. That's plugging into two other things. Though it looks like that. Oh no, I've plugged into the wrong thing. I think that's what it's looking at. Yeah, just copy the code. Don't have to think about it. I'm sure it'll work. Digit 1, digit 2, digit 3. Okay, so it seems less angry with me. Material ref 1. I'm assuming this is, yep. Wonder if these can be copied and pasted. I'm guessing not, so I'm just going to have to do this. The slow way. So you actually don't look like you are in use. Active colony count sets that to last seen count. If resources held is less than or equal to 0. Okay, well, I can only assume it's after this. If last seen count does not equal 0. Okay, I see. Right, it seems relatively happy with me. However, these 3 materials won't be set. Apparently they're not set on here either. That's worrying. Okay, first thing to do is to actually check that this is ticking. Because it might not be. It is indeed ticking. Next thing to check is what these are. Selected normalized. Apparently that's correct. Okay. Getting somewhere. Hello, Toro PK046. How are you doing? Progress is slow at the moment. But progress is progress. Set visibility. Set scalar parameter. So let's have a look. Let's follow the logic through. If last seen count does not equal 0, then set last seen count to resources held. Last seen count does not equal. Nah. Last seen count. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, errors. Access none. Trying to read material reference 1. Okay. I did think these would cause me problems. To reference 1. I suspect these get set somewhere else. And they do indeed in the construction script. So what are these? Uh-huh. Colony ID. Sets the colony ID. Five. Particle system. Don't think I've got to deal with particle systems. So anything to do with, but materials, material billboard. No, I don't have to deal with that either. None of those are important. Although it looks like it's being set up for a 5, or it has been set up for a 5. It's this that I need to deal with. So in the construction script, I just need to do this. Yeah, looks happy with me. Looks like it's gonna work. Yeah. And we've got a 3 above the fish. In French, it's difficult to follow what you make and said, but I'm looking forward to being able to test the game. Thanks very much. Yeah, at the moment, we're just making a fish that has a certain amount of resources in it. So if I show you, this is the resources held. If I give them 750 resources, which is what it's meant to have. Okay, so the billboards aren't quite right. Okay, we got a problem. But I think that's just to do with the location of them. Yeah. So this 0 will be the right hand digit. Obviously it hasn't copied oh no. No, this is a problem. This is actually a problem. Yeah, 750 is a very big number of resources to put it to have in a single fish. Although we have changed that. In the next build, you'll see that all the resource values have changed. But yeah, I suspect it will look right at a certain rotation. Yeah. To be fair, the third digit is not showing up at all. I played a lot too. By Micro, yeah. Inspired by the novel by. Yeah, I haven't actually played that game. I believe it's called Empire of the Ants in English. But I've heard it was quite good, but a little bit buggy. No pun intended. I think my third digit, which is this, there's something wrong with it. So let me have a look at how it was handled in the other blueprint. Active colony count is greater than or equal to 10. If active colony count is greater than or equal to 100, so it's this route it should be. So this branch greater than or equal to 100. So it came at once. It is actually working. Yeah. I think we're on the right track, but we've still got a lot of work we need to do. And we can't be developing the game forever, so we do have to we got to keep working on it and keep focused. Set visibility true. It's actually quite a tricky one, this. I think the way I'm going to have to do it is I'm going to have to create an object that's separate from the fish, in order to have it face, in order to have the digits still separate but also face the user. I'll show you what I mean. So I need an actor really, and it'll be called a billboard digit display, for example. And inside billboard digit display, we will have the 3 digits. We will also have this code, this blueprint code. Now, we need a variable on here, which is going to be digits to display. It's going to be an integer. It's going to be updated from elsewhere. Oh, I need to replace that. Replace variable with digits to display. Okay. These, however, need to be created. Then in the construction script, we need this. Then Billboard digit display reference. We're going to get rid of that. We no longer need this. Goodbye. Instead, untick if our billboard digit display is not nothing, then we set the resources held. We set the digits to display the resources held. Okay. Now, what I need to do is in my harvestable fish here, let's actually make sure it is a harvestable fish and not just a harvestable resource. They're actually quite different now. Hang on. Oh no. Alright, good. Okay, I'm hooking it all up now. And this should give us a display, hopefully. I mean, I've probably missed something, so it probably won't do it immediately, but let's see what we get out of that. Nothing. Digit 1, tool reference, digit 2, digit 3, and graph. So hello came up, so it did recognize that it had a value to display. Material billboard 1. Material billboard 3. Where are you? Oh. Right. Make sure it's not in some strange location. Errors. This might give us some clue to what's wrong. Access none trying to read property, material reference 1. So access none trying to read that. Digit 1, set material reference 1. Let me just check. Where I've been taking this code from, which is of course call to arms. Digit 1. Reference 1, reference 2, material reference 3. Clear it off and put it back in again. Make sure that's not the issue. We're still getting no digits showing up. Plenty of errors. Access none trying to read material reference 1 from function display. Set scalar parameter from node sets. Material billboard 1. Material reference 1. That's a good question. Right. Digit 1, digit 2, digit 3. In my billboard, I have a digit 1, digit 2, digit 3, and yeah. What I need to do is rename them up here. Fortunately, in deleting them, sorry about this. That's what happens when you blindly copy and paste code. Okay. So these shouldn't have any references now. Oh, no, they do. It's just not showing me them. Okay, great. Whew. Digit 1, digit 1, digit 1, digit 2. Digit 3B. Digit 3, digit 3, digit 3. Digit 2, digit 2, digit 2. Which one? Okay, that should be alright now. Maybe. We can only hope. Errors. Access none, trying to read property material referenceable on. I just want to see if this fixes it. It did. Right. Oh no, it didn't. It actually just complained again. I don't think the construction script's setting them properly. I'm not quite sure why, because it's exactly the same as it was the other thing. There it is, set material reference, create dynamic instance. So that's meant to be setting all those values. I haven't missed something somewhere, have I? Digit 1, digit 2, digit 3, 0, 0, 0. Ah. Target is self. Stupid thing. So it doesn't even make sense what it's showing at the minute. Bugged out. Okay, will look good to me. Now will you stop complaining? Looks to me like it's not complaining. Hey, what's this? We have a 7. That's something at least. It's not exactly what I was after. I have to admit, I had higher hopes for how many digits would show. We've got the third one showing so far. Okay, so it's not all bad. These can be deleted now, I think. It's called tones. Okay. So we've still got references to the wrong digits here. Digit 1. Digit 2. And digit 3. Right, I think if I delete these, it should tell me when I compile. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. That would actually have caused the others to disappear. Maybe. Shall we see? Yay! I mean, the digits are in completely the wrong order, but they're there. $430, I think that's meant to say now. It's 320. 310. 300. 290, 280. Okay. So, where digit? Hang on. Let's actually make sure we know what's what. What is what? So I'm just going to base it off this. So Z is fine. So digit 3 at the moment is at 45. Digit 2 is at 20. Digit 1 is at 70. But we can definitely see there the wrong way around. So what I suspect it should be is 1 is at 7. 1's currently in the middle. I'm going to need to rename these in a minute. Let's get them the right way around first. So that's the one in the middle. So digit 3 is digit 1. 3 is 1. The one on the left, which is digit 2. Digit 2 is at least displaying digit 2. I think 1 is 3. So we want to put digit 3 is actually displaying the value of digit 1. Then digit 3 needs to go to the far right. So that needs to go to 70. 70, 20 and 45. Digit 2 is displaying digit 2. It needs to go to 45. Digit 1 needs to go to 20. Okay, here we go. Digit 1 needs to go to 20. Digit 2 needs to go to 45. Digit 3 needs to go to 70. Let's see what we get. So it's joy. Yay! We get it correct. Okay. Okay, so the next thing to actually check I need to watch it harvest for a bit and see if when the third digit goes down, come on. I should have set it at a lower value to start with. Particularly if they're all getting stuck on the way in. Looks like the first digit's working fine. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The only thing left to do is to rename those digits. Digit 1 is in fact digit 3. Digit 2 is in fact is indeed digit 2. Digit 3 is digit 1. Okay, so we should be absolutely fine with that now. We've got a billboard that can be put on top of any food item, and then the food item can be given the billboard to keep up to date. Now, what I really want is for numbers to, right, there's a couple of things. I actually want a slash to be able to be put into the numbers list on the billboards. So I need to add the slash character into the text. I also need and that's so we can display how many ants can harvest at maximum at a time, so you can observe whether you've got an efficient number of ants going to a point. Though in reality, I don't know if that's entirely necessary. Maybe you can just guess by observation? No, it should probably show you. Proof of thought. Back in a moment. I'm going to be ending the stream pretty soon. So, in fact, I'm going to end it here because I've got some work I've got to do with Liam. In not too long. And that's to do with the trails. And it's to do with certain situations you can get yourself in with the trails. We're trying to look for fixes on those things. So I'll end the stream here. Thanks for joining me. I didn't get as far as I'd like to have got with the colony actions. In fact, we didn't get onto the actions. We just set up the enemy colony. But we will work. I will be working on it over the weekend, along with working on the upgrade system. We'll have to see if we can get the upgrade system in time. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and see you next time.